In the previous videos, guys, we understand what is user agent and how a client interact with the web server. Now, when a client interact with the web server, they use some HTTP verb, which we saw in the earlier videos. Let me take you to my desktop again. So I'll go to the app and I'll use get function. If you see, this is my HTTP verb, that is get, and then the response come as 200. That is the web server actually trying to interact with me. So the interaction of the web server is very important because a web server can tell us its response is to our query. If I talk about the error which we just saw, that is 200. 2 stand for your general category, and 0 it stand for your subcategory, and this one it is specific sub. By these numbers, the web server actually trying to tell you that this error is caused by due to this reason, or this is what your query stands for. There are different type of status codes used by web server. We can divide them into 5 top categories, and it is important to know the status codes because only in that case you will be able to better response to web server issues and get your data. In order to understand this, I'll just put the categories here. So the first one is about informational. So whenever a user is query the web server and it responds with the hundreds in the digit, like 101, 102, some sort of this kind of errors or status codes, that actually are more informational, and they are informational. And when we talk about 200, this is success. If a browser is sending you 201, 202 or something like that, then they are success status codes, so you were able to find data, like the one we saw just now. On my get request we get success, that is 200. The third one is about redirection, and these are in 300 rows, basically 300, so 301, 302, 303, something like that. Then there is one more category that is about client error. So you must have seen this error numerous times, client 404. That is when you actually make an absurd request to your server and your server fails to do that, so it shows you client error. And then there is the last one, that is server error responses. When your server encounter errors, it shows in the status code with 500. It's 500, so it would be 501, 502 or something like that. Just to see this practically, let me take you to my desktop back, and we are again on the site we have seen previously. If I make a request, get a response 200, that is my success. If suppose I want to make a this request, so I'm asking my web server to give me only header. You need to read about it, what head 200 means. This basically, I just want to fetch the header of the Google dot. So it says it's a success again because I got a response to it. Give me a second. We already covered that that's a client error. It is not possible. Suppose I, instead of this, I'll try to pass something on Google dot. Again, I am not an owner, and it's again says 405 again. Let's try to delete it entirely. Again, it's a client error. That is how exactly the status codes tell us what does the web server wants to respond us back. So in our case, when we make get request, we have some intent and we tell the server to get us this information, and we retrieved it. If we actually make some absurd request, or the request which is not possibly to deal with, then we get some status code and we have to explore further what does that status code stand for. But if you know these 5 categories, if there is would be a status code like 401 or 402 or 403, I'll know it's a client error right away. Same way, if you go to 300 rows, like 301, 302, that's a redirection. And once you know that's a redirection, you know what kind of error it is coming again, or what exactly is happening on. So yeah, this will come very handy when we start making some codes in Python. So I think that is all for this video. I'll see you in the next one.